Sunrise, sunrise, looks like morning in your eyes.
Okay YouTube, hi. I am back with another crochet video. So this is the introduction to chaining and single crochet. So like I said, I'm going to start out using the large hook here, size S, and the large thread or yarn. So first what you want to do is get the yarn onto your hook. There's several ways you can do that. You can just tie it on in a knot. And I'm going to show with this as well as with another type of yarn that you would probably use more readily. So you can just tie it on, or you can do a slip knot, which is what I do now. If you know how to do a slip knot, I would go ahead and do that. With a slip knot, I usually just take the end, not the end, so take the end that actually goes to the ball, keep the other end there. So use that and wrap it around your fingers like this, and then push this piece up where your two fingers meet. Push it up there towards you, pull it out, and then put your hook into that area. And then you can take your fingers out, kind of makes a triangle, and you just tighten that up, and that is your slip knot, which is useful. Okay, easy to do. There's probably videos on that if you need more help with that. But what we're going to do basically is start to do a chain, which is a foundation stitch to build other stitches upon. So now you see that there's something on the hook that looks like a stitch, but it's really not. So this is not counting as your first stitch. So what you're going to do is just leave the tail of your yarn alone, just let it hang there. You don't want to make this too short. Just make it, like this. You don't have to make it long or short. It doesn't come into play at all much with crocheting. Not for me anyway, but in knitting, I'll do knitting videos later, probably much later, but it will come into play there. But anyway, so you're going to use the working yarn, which is the yarn that you have connected to your ball. So what you're going to do, and I'm going to walk through it first, and then I'm going to do it without words, basically. So first, you're going to wrap the yarn around your hook, like so. So your yarn is either in the back or maybe it's on the side, doesn't matter really. What you want to do is wrap it from the left to the right, like so. Then you want to pull the piece that you made the slip knot over the piece that you just wrapped over. So you want to do that. Like I said before, remember I was saying that the hook on the hook is actually going to be there to either catch the loops that you're making, or either navigate the loops that you're making. Okay, so it's either going to catch this one or it can navigate this one. What I'm going to show you is easier to, when you're first starting out, is to use your hands to navigate and use the hook to hold and catch. Okay, we'll do the opposite once you get more used to that. So use your hands to navigate. So you want to navigate this one over this piece that you just wrapped around to make your chain. So this is one chain like that. So there, so now you have one chain. You can't really see it that well because it's very thick and we're still going. But do the same thing again. Wrap it around, and I'll show what this side looks like. Basically your chain is going to grow down like this, okay, so there. Then you're going to do the same thing, so navigate this piece over top of this one, like so. You want to keep doing that, so if you see a pattern that says CH10, that means chain 10. So you're going to do this 10 times. So as you can see, there's stuff happening down here. Let's keep doing this, and this is your chain. Okay? So if you look here, you'll see a bunch of loops. Like I said, that's what crochet really is. It's just making loops. And so what you're going to do is build on these loops. Shelly, move out of the way. You're going to build on these loops, or you can just keep going and make this longer. I'm going to switch over now to the other type of needle and hook. Yarn and hook, because I want to show you what it looks like normally, but I just want to show you in a large view of what you're doing and what it looks like. Sometimes it's hard for me to see. It might not be hard for you, but if you want to do it right, it's best to kind of see it here. And what you're going to do, you're making these chains. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 chains here that I've made. So I went over and over 4 times, and that'll be the 5th time. So then you will see holes being made, and this is where you're going to put your stitches. So you're going to be building stitches on top of this. So you're going to be going into these holes that you made with your chain to make your stitches. Okay, let's switch over to a more common thread and more common yarn and hook. Doing this the same thing, making a little slip knot using the H, or this is I, hook, the one I showed you in that last video, the first video. Just made my little slip knot. Here's the end. Here's the yarn that I'm using. Okay, so you're going to do the same thing. So now this looks a little bit different. I'll get closer here. So what you want to do is the same thing. Make your slip knot. This piece is going to go over that piece that you wrap around. And you're going to, sorry, I'm used to. So you're going to take the, with your fingers, you can take this part and take it right over top of the hook and that piece that you wrapped around, like so. And if I'm going too fast, I'm sure I am, but this is easier to do because you're making, you see the same thing occurs. You get the same little holes here, of course they're smaller. So I did that 3 times, so it's 1, 2, and 3. So you just take it from your left side of your hook, just facing, if the hook is facing you, you're going to take the yarn from the left side of the hook, and wrap it from back, on the back side, from right to left, and then you're going to take the yarn that you already have on the hook that you made your slip knot and pull it over top of that piece, holding this other piece in your pinky and ring finger if you like. Okay, so left, right, over, over. And you're, Shelly, go over there. And you're making loops, just like that. Okay? Sorry about the dog issue. She likes to be in the middle of everything. So that's the basic foundation stitch, chain stitch. Okay? So this is what you have to do basically in order to create most projects. You have to chain something, or sometimes you don't have to chain very much, but other times most times you will if you're making just something simple as a scarf or a hat or something like that. So these are the chain stitches. So I'm going to stop here and I'll go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and do this, the first simple crochet, single crochet. So I'm going to chain a few more here just to show you. So just pull these over. And actually before I do that as well, I think I'm going to show you how you can use the hook, tip of the hook, as your navigator instead of using your fingers as your navigator. So what you can do is the same thing, wrap over, but this time I would just grab the chains that you've made so far with your left hand, and see how my thumb is on that little groove I talked about. So I'm holding, you know, the hook. I'm going to use my right hand and the hook to actually do that same motion. I'm going to use the hook to hold this piece that I wrapped and navigate it under this one, if that makes sense. So I'll just show you. So I'm pulling my my chains, and I'm pulling my hook a little bit, and now I'm going to let my hook just go right up under that chain, or that loop. Same thing. I'll let my chain, or let my hook go right up under, you can see that, go right up under there like that. Okay, so same thing you do with your fingers, but you're allowing the hook to do the work. So it's all about how you hold everything. So you wouldn't be able to do it that well. I guess you could do it here and then pull down on the hook. And you see also that I'm only using basically from here to here on the hook. I'm not going down here, and I'm not going all the way up here. Use the fat part of the hook in the middle, because you want your stitches to be all symmetrical and the same size, and all your chains to be large enough so you can actually put the hook into those stitches. So okay, next I'm going to show how to do a single crochet. Let's go through and count the chains that we have. That's always important too, to know how many chains you have to work with. So the first chain, so you can see how this is connected to my working yarn. So you wouldn't count anything that's actually connected. You can see that this piece right here is connected to this. You wouldn't count that. You count the next loop that you see. Now if you have a problem where you don't see a loop, go ahead and just take your hook out, pull one loop off, put your hook back into the next loop, and then do the same thing and see if you see another loop. Sometimes this loop gets really tight and you can't see it, or there's a problem there, but you can unravel crochet pretty easily, which makes it very easy to do. So let's go ahead and try to do a single crochet. So we're going to count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I just went through and counted those little holes that we made. Can't really see all of them, but you can see the loops that are on top, right? Okay. So now the single crochet, you're going to use the tip of your hook and go right into, so all your chains are on the right, I'm sorry, on the left side, and your hook is on the right, in your right hand if you're right-handed. Basically crochet goes right to left, so opposite of the way that we read. So what you're going to do is take your tip of your hook and go from front to back into that loop. Like I said, remember, not this one, but this one, right beside it. So we're going to go into that, and now you see that it looks like there's two things on the hook. That would be right. Then you want to do the same motion like you did before in the chaining, same motion, and now you want to take this middle piece over this top piece. So this is called yarn over, this thing that you've done before with the chain. So you yarn over, then you want to take this middle piece and go over that top piece. So now you have 2 loops on your hook. Then you want to yarn over again and take both of those pieces over the hook. And that is your single crochet. Now, there are variations to the single crochet. Not going to get into that, but this would help you. This is good enough for now. Okay, so let's try that again. So next, you're going to just keep going all the way across. Okay, that was the first one. We had 8, so let's keep going. So now I'm going to go in to that same, not the same loop, but the next loop. Yarn over, middle one over the top, yarn over, both over the top. Okay. Now some people don't do that, do a single crochet in 2 steps. I usually do. Sometimes I don't really realize what I'm doing. Maybe I don't, but this is single crochet. Okay. So you see my next loop is waiting for me right there. In, yarn over, and you don't have to be holding the stuff the same way I am, but it's just naturally done this way. Okay, so you want to keep going, and I'm probably running out of time, but just keep practicing with that. So basically there's 3 movements. There's this movement of going into the loop. There's this movement, the yarn over, and then there's this movement, when the loops go over top of that yarn over. So there's only 3 movements with the single crochet that you really need to learn, and once you do learn those movements, they're just used over and over and over again with any of the other stitches. So this is really the basic thing that you're doing. I'm sorry. This is the basic thing that you're doing with all these stitches. Going in, yarn over, pulling up, yarn over, pulling over. And there is little nursery rhymes. There are ways to remember. There's different words you can use. The yarn over is one. Pulling up, pull a loop up. So if you hear those things or see those things in patterns, or if you're looking at different things, this is pretty much it, and it's really basic. So we're almost at the end, and so the next video will be I'll redo this really quickly, and then we'll go on to half double crochet. Same movements I just talked about, but one extra little step, and that's it. So now you see what you have here is a little row of single crochet.